this afternoon. Halloween. Halloween today. I hope we're all doing extremely well on this Halloween. Wherever you are in the world, let me know where you are and let me know how you're doing today. So I'm JB. This is your first time here. We are a Man United fan channel. We do things slightly differently here. We are not the biggest, but we are the best. We do have one of the best communities on this platform, so please feel free to get into the chat. When you do get into the chat, I'll always ask to be respectful as you possibly can to the community. It's the number one important thing. You can be part of this community. You don't have to be a fan of the club, but the most important thing is respect at all times. Be respectful to the community, be respectful to yourselves, and be respectful to me. One thing that we do differently on here is that I'm not a dictator of this chat. The reason why these shows take so long is because I try to read all of your chats. There are super chats or all sorts of stuff on here, but doesn't really matter to me. It matters the kindness of people, but I will read your chats and give you that respect and time, because that is what we do on here. Danny B says, morning JB. Morning my friend, is afternoon. Here Dino says, best chat on YouTube. How are we doing? Dino, legend of the chat. I hope we're all doing extremely well. And I hope YouTube, let me know again if there's anything stuttering and all sorts of stuff going on with the video feed, because I don't know what's going on with the platform today. My internet seems to be okay, so just let me know what it is and let me know if there are any issues. So happy Halloween, people. Exactly. The potential for me to come on in some sort of mask today. I didn't particularly want to start a stream off with a Halloween theme because I'm not a child. But, you know, I've got children, so tonight I'm sure I have kids knocking at my door and they'll be out filling themselves full of sweets. And yeah, I know it's a big thing in the States. Here it's getting bigger. I've got all stuff hanging outside as well. That's not me. That is the other half. So let me know today about anything you've seen. Get into the chat. This afternoon show, we're going to go through some stuff on why I think that United will make some signings. Why I think we'll make a signing. I'll give you my original opinion. Is I believe that we would go into the loan market. I still think that we will, but I do think after the comments, so we'll go through Jason Wilcox's comments on MUTV that he made. Now, I purposefully, somebody did bring that into the chat last night, but I did purposefully not bring it in because someone I wanted to talk about and give its own time to today. So that's what I wanted to talk about this afternoon, and then we'll go through, or I may even go through probably the easiest thing first. And Rayan Victor, a player that we are apparently linked to, Vasco da Gama in Brazil. I'll go through the players kind of overview, and then we can look about that. So get your opinions in. Let me know if you saw the Jason Wilcox interview. Let me know what you think. Do you think that we're going to make a sign-in? Love to know all that stuff. Let me know if you think that we are going to do any business, what kind of business that you think we'll do. Agreed loans will be massive for us. Dino says there. I do think we'll do a loan, but I'm suspecting that we're going to try and do something big. And there are reasons for that as well, which we can get into that as well. So get in your comments about Reese Furniture and Beds. The shoe moved again. Yes, it's this table. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It is only my elbow, not a ghost. Don't be concerned. Thank you, Fernando. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Danny B says, who from Vasco? So let's get into this. So he's on the phone. So his name is Rayan Victor Simplico Rocha. So basically he's 19 years old from Vasco, born August the 3rd, 2006. Tulip plays, hi JB, hope you're doing extremely well. 19 years old, Brazilian born in Rio de Janeiro, about 180, about 1.85 meters tall, so just over 6 foot tall. Left footer, Vasco da Gama. Now, basically, Rayan joined from the youth system Again, scoring lots and lots of goals. So, for example, the stats here, he scored 280 goals by the age 11, and he's been integrated into the senior team since 2023. As Danny B says there, Rayan is a baller. He's an attacker, often on the wing, particularly on the right, but can perform across the front three. Dina says 2006 makes me feel old, mate. I feel particularly old as well. Never heard of him, to be honest. We have to do research. So I've been looking at this. For 19 years old, he does look particularly good. Now, there are teams across Europe, of course they are, who are looking at these players. You guarantee Madrid are in there, Milan are in there. Apparently, his playing styles and strengths are his physicality and dribbling ability to make an impact. He shows strong finishing skills. Also contributes to creating chances rather than just scoring. Versatile in attack. It's highlighted he can operate on the wing or even as a central player. Scott says, "What's good, JB? I'm extremely well and I hope you are doing as well, my friend." Tulip places, keep stacking up the young talent though. If they work out, great. If not, we can sell them for a profit. Exactly that. Bobby, legend of the chat. Hello, JB. Hello, Bobby. And I hope you're doing extremely well. So, let's go into a little bit of more performance and statistics. The 2024-25 season was his breakout season. Played 43 matches, 3,367 games, and 0.3 contributions per 90. Wise fan says, "Good afternoon. What position is he, and how much are we willing to fork out?" So, he is a front forward. He's predominantly plays on the wing, but he can play in front of those front three. Now he's about 1.85 centimeters, 185 centimeters, which is what, about 6'1" or 2. Powerful, strong. If you check him out, which I have, 19 years old, he looks like one of those players that you'd happily take a punt on. An attacking player, powerful, pacey player as well. At 19 years old, has played 43 games last season, 3,367 minutes. Dino says it's good to see us go into the Brazilian league. There are some good young talent over there. Exactly. He made 20. Well, in terms of starting matches of those appearances, 20 starting appearances, 5 goals, 1 assist, 57 shots. Contract. So let's talk about the contract. I think Danny B, he's predominantly a right winger, pacey, powerful, but I think he can play along that front three. Now, I think the reason why we probably be linked to him is the versatility of that player. So, when we are looking, and again, similar to Esteval, but not as good, how much is he worth? So, suggesting to report, there's a release clause in a region of between, and this is in euro value, between 30 to 40 million pounds. Now, whether or not he's worth it, I think remains to be seen. I don't know what this, 26 million pound, 26 to 32, 33 million pounds. I think that's quite a high price. I'd need to see a little bit more of him, but I think. But again, there are some sources. So there's a release clause in a region of about 30 to 40 million, but I think the market value is more around about 20 million pounds. So between about 16 million to 20 million pounds. His contract is until December 2026. There are reports out there that they're currently negotiating an extension to this to around 2028, including that salary increase and a higher release clause as well. Obviously, European clubs are tracking him, AC Milan, and obviously clubs in Turkey and France. But they are looking at this release clause is going to be in and around the 30 to 40 million. Current value, I think we're talking anywhere between 15 to 22 million. Wise fan, I wouldn't sign him until I've seen him in action on the pitch, and that's a fair comment. Potential, he is considered one of Brazil's top young attacking talents. And when we're talking about, and I've got some of the stats in that here, he is ranked in terms of one of the kind of higher ranked players in his age group. Those trainees are dead. Jess, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there. Key factors, I think, are consistency. I think when we're talking about these young players, I think we have to think about this. The ability to adapt. 19. I've looked at him on FBR. He's a good shooter, header of the ball, but has a low stats and everything else. We'll watch him play now. So is your attitude? Yes, I love it. They've got to have to analyse system to get much info as possible before we consider buying him. Exactly, but again, I think that when we're looking at these sorts of players, is this the guy? Is Rayan the guy? Possibly not. But I think the fact that we're being linked to these sorts of players, South American market again, I like this. If we can get these sorts of players for a good fee, and I think as Tulip Play says, and I think as you guys say on here as well, is that it's really important that we scout these players. Those trainers behind you look like what my nan would wear if she wanted to jog against Scott. That's interesting, Jess, because those trainers, you could. Jess, don't even get me into a conversation about footwear, because I've got so many of them. Those behind me, yeah. No, Jess, don't make me school you on running trainers, because I'll absolutely fucking school you. Yeah. But Jess, I am concerned. I am concerned about your language. I am concerned about you coming on here with hate. It's Friday, Jess. It's Friday. Let's be happy. I don't know if you're a United fan, clearly in a little bit of a bad mood. Just try and be happy. Won't that affect any of our other young players, such as Leon, etc., from getting a chance, or play, or is it just backup player? Leon plays a completely different position, right? Leon is more of a wing back type of player. I think it's almost quantity as well, right? So you need the quality, you need the quantity as well. So you've almost, these young talents. I think if you overload in a position, I do think that Leon. I mean, I saw him play against Spurs under 21s. The goal that he scored, he's 18 years old, and he made those under 21s. I mean, I don't know what the age consistency was against Spurs, but he literally looked like a man against a boy. So I think that he'll be fine. I think what we are following the Chelsea model here. I think that is exactly what we do. Do I agree or disagree? Time will tell. But I think what we need to start to get into our heads as fans, whether we like it or not, is we do need to start bringing in the young, talented kids. And if they don't work out, fine, and then we sell them on, because we've got to start. Whilst INEOS and the Glazers are still here, we need to find a means in how we bring money into this club. And if it means we have to outlay on an asset, on a younger asset with potential, I don't necessarily agree with that. But Rayan, I think, is one to be watched. Do I think ultimately he'll come to the club? I don't know. He's got AC Milan, he's got a Chelsea written all over it, in my humble opinion. I'd love to see us go do these deals, just to go out and compete with Milans and the Chelseas. And I think, again, bringing in another 19-year-old, is that gonna impact other people? I think it will cause competition. I think, imagine right now you've got OB, right? So OB 17, 18 now, right? Stagnated a little bit, in my opinion, because he was lauded as the next big thing. No one else, no other young striker around the club as such. And Bianchi, I watched Bianchi play. He's fantastic. Imagine getting in another young striker to compete. So what I would love to do is have an under 21s that's competitive. You've got 2 or 3 players that can come into this club and compete. So we're competing at all levels. We're competing at under 18s, 21s as well. So that's what I want to see. As much as I do agree that you don't want to stifle these young players, but at the same time, we need competitive edge. You need to come into this club and know that when you come into a club like OB, I think maybe has suffered from this. He's come into the side hungry, and then actually the hunger goes because he thinks, he played in the first team, but then where's his competition? Where's the onus on him to improve? So I actually think getting in younger players to a limit. I don't think we need loads and loads, but I think we need enough just to drive competition as well. Dina says there's only one, Mr. Dino. You sound like, Jess says you sound like I know more than you, Jess. I guarantee it. It's got. Don't be concerned. I apologise. She'd probably. Just tuning in. To spend Nicaruzzi. So we'll come on to that. We'll come on to that now. Sorry, boys, my bad. Look, Jess, we don't mind the banter. But there is a limit to banter. Asking people to do things to your mum or your dad is, that's not banter, is it? I mean, you're poor parents. It's Halloween. It's time to put the scares out on other teams tomorrow. Seems like the lad with the not cutting hair might get a haircut soon. You guys be better. But you better win against Spurs. I hope so. What do you think about Amorim so far, Lumi? Look, if you've watched this channel, Lumi, at any point at all, I've had my bad concerns, but I've been Amorim in. Even at the start of the season when I've been hammered and people are screaming at Amorim out, I've got no doubt, Lumi, that people will be Amorim out if we lose tomorrow, right? Amorim is only one game away from people going back, right? I've been consistent on this. Even in Grimsby, even after that loss, I'm still Amorim in, and I have been Amorim in on the basis that last season we finished 15th. These weren't his players. I don't think he's been properly backed in terms of the players that he needed for this squad. And we've still got Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes as his pick. He's still there. Luke Shaw. We've got some of these players. He doesn't have enough players to implement this squad, right? And I was also of the opinion that why would you bring in a manager who played a completely different system to what we've ever played and expect him to work a miracle with players who don't know how to play the system? And I'm of the opinion that you give him until the end of the season, and I've always had that opinion. I do. Is the Filler kid signing? He looks like a good prospect. There is no news on that just yet. It looks like I think it's something like a £2.6 million deal. I will keep you up to date on that one, but he hasn't signed yet. Dino, I think we're all well. Nicaruzzi, absolute legend. I just looking for a reason to skive. If you win Saturday, you go second because City don't play till Sunday, and the Spurs game is Monday. Banter is all fun and games. Banter is fun and games till somebody takes it personally. Your racing boots. I've got many racing boots, my friend. Many racing boots. We're not going to get beat tomorrow, JB. Come on, look. Yeah. Positivity from me. I still have to put out there that on the basis that I was asked about what do I think about Amorim. I always feel that Amorim is one defeat away. No negativity on the game tomorrow. I think we're going to win. I do think we will. Obviously, we did the preview last night. I do think that we'll win this game. I do, but I'm still of the opinion that I think he's only ever one defeat away from being Amorim out. Michael says, hi, United guy. Hello, my friend. Why is United said, before we spend in Jan, let's decide just who we can sell or loan out, then go for the players that we've just been trying to sign. Jody Demon says, do you fancy Delo? I'm a Liverpool supporter and I don't fancy him. No, I don't fancy him in either sense of the word. If you do, fantastic. Yeah, he's not my. Dina says, JB, your opinion, the other channel have said that we've improved, or have we? Your opinion, the other channel said that we have this. Have we improved, or have we played teams out of form? It depends. I think what your opinion is. I think this season is a very, very competitive season. If you look at how we played against Arsenal at the start of the season, if you look at our games, Fulham are a seasoned Premier League team, right? Bournemouth, we got smacked up, Premier League proven team. You look at them this season. City, again, world-class players, treble winners not so long ago, Premier League winners not so long ago, as well. Sunderland, we beat them as we should do. I think what you can do is you can use whatever rhetoric that you want to use. Right? You can use the team. Look, it's so easy, right? If you listen to Les Scott, so I listen to Les Scott on some shitty podcast. I think Les Scott's take is a fucking load of nonsense. And he was basically saying how we're a mid-table team, mid-table players, bloody. But now, if that was coming from a place of an analytical mind, it's not. It's coming from a mind of a biased prat. My opinion is that Amorim, it has never been the system, and it is not the tactics. In my opinion, it's these players, right? I think what's happened is that these players have come to realise that Amorim isn't going anywhere at all. I think Amorim has had time, and I think what people forget is that Amorim had how many games a week? 2 or 3 games a week. There was no time to implement his system, no time to implement a way or patterns of play that he wants to play. It was just a suck it and see. Pre-season wise, we didn't have our players that we have now in pre-season. You got to think about, we still, pre-season, we still had a lot of these toxic elements here. They weren't in the squad, but they were still around, and nobody knew what was sort of happening. Now, Amorim has had time with his squad. He's had time with his squad. The players have come in. Some of these players didn't have a pre-season, and Burma didn't really have a pre-season. The men's didn't have a pre-season. Shesko didn't have a pre-season. But what we're seeing now is we're seeing the accumulation, in my opinion, of a manager being backed. We're seeing finally the weeks and weeks that this manager is spending with these players, and these players are starting to get the system. We're seeing the players that we signed are now forming a team. These players are now forming a bond together. And what we are seeing now is we are seeing glimpses of what Amorim can do as a coach. So I think we have improved. To say that we're playing teams not in form, who's in form? Everybody is in the same position. We played an out of form City who beat us. We played an in-form Bournemouth side who spanked us. We played Sunderland. To say that Sunderland are not on form is a load of fucking nonsense. What are they, 2nd or 3rd in the league now? Arsenal. We played Arsenal. The first game of the season was Arsenal, right? We played them off park. So you can use whatever rhetoric that you want to use, and we can only play what's in front of us. So I actually think we are, in my opinion, we are improving, and whatever other people's form is like, it doesn't matter. You can only play the game that's in front of you there. So in my opinion, we are doing what we should be doing. I think we are getting better as a team. I think Amorim is improving these players, and I think we deserve the game. So I think you can use whatever rhetoric that you want if you dislike the team. And I'm not talking about us guys. I'm talking about pundits. They'll say all season, even after the 22nd game, we're still playing teams that are not in form. We can only play teams. We can only play what's there. Jess says this is the way to deal with it though. Outstanding channel. I came to destroy, now I'm part of the family. Jess, Jess, this is what we do on here. We give people a chance. Just because you come in with an aim to try to destroy, you can become part of a community, Jess. Hello, brother, says Jamie. Happy Halloween from Dallas Steeler coming January. We'll talk about that as well. We'll go through what Wilcox said. Interesting stuff there. Jamie's a legend of the chat. Martin Fay. Martin O'Neill got scouted in West Belfast by Forest. I take my dogs out for a walk on the West Ground where they scouted him. That's amazing. Nikarutsu, should we try to loan out your favourite player? Sure. JB asking for Dino. Oh, should we try to? Who's gonna loan Luke Shaw out? Let me just have a drink for a second. Who's going to loan Luke Shaw? Unless you're Battersea Dog Zone, unless you're some sort of what I would do with Luke Shaw, I would loan Luke Shaw to medical science, or I'd loan him to NASA, shoot him into space to see what the impacts are of space on a human body. That's what I do. Always look on the bright side of life, be positive and optimistic. We are focused and we'll beat Forest tomorrow. I've watched some highlights. Randy's not that quick, clunky dribbler, super strong, good left foot and great in the air. We are set on the right side though. I wouldn't spend that much. Did you mention sure it's my job to poke the bear? We need CMs and a wing back. Do you think AC Milan is going to win against Roma? Roma second. I think it might be a draw. He played for Distillery. Obviously, Forest won the European Cup, and with Martin O'Neill and Brian Clough. Yeah, and that's what people forget. Martin, people forget that people like Martin O'Neill, Cloughie, won 2 back-to-back European Cups, right? Forest's pedigree is brilliant. Forest are, again, people think that football began in 92, 93, right? Yeah, Forest are a good side. Meltdown incoming. No, wait for JBI start twitching. Shaw's mentioned. Cheeky. When the fixtures first come out, I felt we could at least get 7 out of the first 3 games. But Bienda was in goal and mucked up. I said we'd get 8 from 8. How wrong was I? And I'm happy to be wrong. I'm more than happy to be wrong. Absolutely more than happy to be wrong. Ryan Victor is basically Anderson Talisca. Yeah, I had that feeling as well. Now we have 4 good signings and they've all earned their price tag. Finley Murphy says, hi, hello, my friend. He says, I'm back. The supporters need the confidence restored, mate. Emmy's been quiet since we won 3 in a row and got top 6. It's obviously still unpredictable at the moment. We had one of the hardest opening schedules in the league. What are these fools talking about? They played Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Pool already in the opening 8 games. Exactly. Emmy's been very quiet. How to trigger JB. We are United. We don't set the bar. We are the bar for every club in the Premier League. I agree. Trigger engaged. Shaw is the best left back in the world. I don't care. Scott. Oh, my eyes twitching. Shaw could sell teas and coffees at half time. I don't think he could, mate. I think he'd get injured. I think he'd injure his carpal in his hand. Did you see his eye twitch? United 3, Forest 1. Poor Luke. He's not even been bad this year. Luke's been all right. You know what I'd say to a Brighton fan. Are you a football fan? Yes, we are. The unseen brain TSD. Hello, dear. How are you? I'm very, very well. Come on, United. Let's hope Forest don't score first. I think Mbeumo will score first goal. Why are you saying it will be a draw? United guy, you need to trust AC Milan. Look, I don't. AC Milan, I like AC Milan, but I don't have any dog in that fight. I hope they win for you. Look, I hope AC Milan win for you, but I think Roma are doing all right this season, aren't they? So, for you, fingers crossed, AC Milan win. JB, is Chris Wood fit? Good question. Good question. Good question. Good question. Let me do this live. Let me ask this question. What is Chris Wood fit? No, he's not fit. Chris Wood is not fit. He's got a hip injury, which is good. Now, I did get two answers to that. The first answer was is Chris Wood fit? The first answer to that was yes, he's very attractive. Second answer to that, no, is he's got a problem with his hip. So, yeah, Chris Wood, if you like that sort of thing, apparently according to the internet, he is quite fit. But no, he's not fit at all. He's got a hip injury, so that's good. Brendan Rodgers is losing his job at Celtic. He's already gone, mate. My prediction tomorrow is either Payne or 3-0. 4-1 to Scott. Good. Think he could cause us some problems. So tomorrow's game, I'm confident. 90s Italian League or 90s Premier League. Oh, now look, Jamie, always 90s Premier League, right? Always, right? There is no question for me. 90s Premier League is my era, is my bag, right? But 90s Italian League was off the scale. I love the Italia 90. I mean, Lazio, Parma, Sampdoria, AC Milan, amazing. The 90s football for me was probably some of the best. I loved it. You're not Spanish league towards the end. I wasn't really a big fan of the Bundesliga then, but the Italian league had some of the best players. Absolute brilliant. United will win the league under Amorim. Mark my words. We are easily second best team in the division at the moment. Was Demba Ba underrated, JB? I like Demba Ba. I really do. I really liked him. I think, didn't Demba Ba just absolutely fall off a cliff? Demba Ba, was he Newcastle? I can't remember who he played for. Was Demba Ba West Ham as well? Was he Chelsea? God, you're testing my knowledge now. Who did he play for? Yeah, Chelsea. Chelsea, Newcastle. Was it Chelsea, Newcastle, West Ham? I haven't got any bloody internet. Yeah, so West Ham, Newcastle, Chelsea. I was right. I like Demba Ba. I do. I really do like him. He was one of those players that I think he showed moments of being a top class striker. I think he had, was it two or 3 years where he was a really top class striker. I just don't think Demba Ba was a fashionable player. I liked him a lot though. I did, and I think his numbers. What were his numbers? He got 7 in 12 for West Ham, 29 in Newcastle, 29 in 54 for Newcastle, 7 in 33 for Chelsea and Besiktas and whatever else. So his numbers ain't bad. Like his numbers are not bad. Like for Hoffenheim, 37 in 97. I just think he was a good old decent striker. I don't think he was ever going to win you he was never going to necessarily win a league in terms of he was going to come in and be that striker who's going to win you the league like a Haaland or like a Van Persie. But I thought he was a decent player. I remember him. I think he did have was it a knee injury or an ACL or something like that. But yeah, a good question. bar, absolute legendary player. Just have another drink. So, Jason Wilcox, Super Battle says, our defence with De Ligt, Yor is extremely exciting, and Burma and Cunha look like bargains now. Wouldn't go that far, or wouldn't go that far just yet. Give it until the end of the season. I think they've had great starts. I think I'm not going to disagree in terms of, I think we're seeing what you pay for. Scott says, I bet Harry Maguire starts tomorrow. So there are rumours going around that there's going to be a change tomorrow because of the low block, because of the aerial threat. I don't disagree with Scott. I think Yoro might come out tomorrow. I think Yoro might come out. And I think De Ligt will be De Ligt, Shaw, Maguire tomorrow. Tomorrow will be in Burmo, Bracey, the Shesko, Cunha scoring in a 3-0. JB, where do you rank De Ligt with our past defenders we've had? Even if we're talking about people like Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, what are we talking about? Jons. I see where I would put him. So, and I'm just thinking about this, we're talking about Steve Bruce, Pallister, Jonsson, Hennenberg, Blanc, Japstam, Vidic, Evra, O'Shea. You can put him in there as well. Help me out, guys. Obviously, Rio, Vidic, O'Shea, Johnny Evans. More recently, Lindelof, etc. I would put him, and Maguire as well. I would put him at the moment. He's not near the levels of Pallister, Vidic, Rio yet. Will he ever be at that level? I think you need to be in a title winning side. I think where I'd put him at the moment for me is probably the sort of best of the rest, or up there, with the likes of Ronnie Jonsson. Do I think ability-wise he's probably better than him? Yeah. I'd put him, if you've got those, like legendary players like Vidic, Pallister. For me, you can say no. Then I put Steve Bruce in there. You've got Pallister, Vidic, Rio, those sorts of players in there. And then I would underneath that, when you got the likes of Lindelof, is better than him. Maguire, I think he's better than Maguire. I think he's probably one of the best of the rest that we've had after those sorts of players. So after we had, Vidic, Rio, I think he's probably one of those types. So I think he's got potential. I think he's got potential. He'd need to win multiple leagues. He'd need to win multiple trophies, in my opinion, to be up there. But I think he's one of our best centre-backs we've had in a very, very, very long time. I hate United, but I kind of dig your show for some reason. Thank you, my friend. Steak and cheese. Look, the reason why you dig the show is because this community is the best. And you're part of that. This community, the way we do things on here, the interaction is what we do well. On here, we come on, we have a laugh. That is what we do. Dinos is best since Rio and Vidic. I can't argue with that. I think there is definitely a debate and a case to be had over that as well. I think he is a class act. So, Jason Wilcox. What did Wilcox have to say for himself? So there was an interview that obviously we do from time to time. Amron did one as well the other week. And Wilcox, let me know your opinions on him, because I like Wilcox. I do. I think he's a proper footballing person, and I think sometimes that gets missed. From Arnold and Murta that we had, were nowhere near football people. It's nice to have a guy who's not only played the game at the highest level, but who's Hainzer as well. Yeah, I forgot him off of the list. Opus for the Health, 100%. as well. Heinze was a great player. I think the reason why something just come through, hang on. I think the reason why he gets forgotten is because I just think that people get so focused on Vidic and Rio that we do sometimes forget these sorts of in-betweens. I actually think in terms of that, like, drive and passion, I think De Ligt reminds me a little bit of him as well. Heinze was a great player, really, really good player as well. But as Dino says, he was more of a full. I think he was more of a left back. But great player. Veron as well. Veron, I remember when we signed him. I loved that guy, and then he turned out to be. I just don't think he was effective. I just don't think. I think he was the right signing, but I just don't think he was the. My favourite memory of him and his bald head was when we played in when he first came, Champions League, and we had that like blue and silver kit. I love that player, but it was just sad that he just didn't work out. Why says it? Line up Lemens, Maz, De Ligt, Shaw, Delo, Casemiro, Bruno, Mbeumo, Cunha, and Shesko. 3-4-2-1. Superpat says INEOS not looking so bad after all. I always told people be patient with INEOS. They're good. I'm going to have to respect your opinion on that one. It still remains to be seen, but I do concede is we'll give them time. I will still never say that they're good because they kept the Glazers in, but sometimes maybe I will have to separate out the football from the ownership, but I'm not going to call that opinion out. As I've always said, I think people's opinions bring those in here, and interesting opinion. Be Kind played in both, didn't he? Yeah. Naeem says, hi, I'm new and now I've subscribed. Thank you, Naeem. Maguire return date November the 8th against Spurs. Anderson was underrated as well. Anderson just got injured. INEOS and Glazers out. Says Bobby, who was better, Rafael or Fabio? I can't remember who was who. Wasn't Rafael the better one? I think he was anyway. So Wilcox. Let's get on to Jason Wilcox and what was said. So walking around saying some stuff. Rafael, yeah, agreed. Who remembers Quinton Fortune? Hell yes. South African Quinton Fortune. Quinton Fortune was one of those players who was, in my opinion, I remember him, was one of those players who was just, it was just a solid player. Like nothing spectacular. He just came in and just did a decent job. I like Quinton Fortune and Jordi Cruyff as well. I remember Jordi Cruyff, decentest player. I'm sure Jordi Cruyff scored a hat-trick as well, didn't he, against somebody? Can't remember who that was. Didn't he score a hat-trick against Spurs or somebody? Jordi Cruyff was all right. Naeem says, my prediction is for as I'm a fan of United, 3-1. I always thought Rafael was better. Do you play Football Manager? I haven't played it for a long time. The only one I really played was Football Manager 2002, 2003, which I do have actually. Forest have the new manager bounce. Fergie used to play Rafael when he had a red because you couldn't tell them apart. Fortune played 76 games. I thought he was a good player. I thought he was a decent player. You don't play 76 games under Fergie if you're not a decent player. I rated him. I thought he was a good player. So, what did Wilcox say, and why has this changed my opinion on signings that we make? So, Jason Wilcox, question was asked. You mentioned the Forest game up next. Are the preparations going well? So the preparations are going well. The players came in on Saturday to do their recovery. Monday they took the day off, and now they're spending time preparing for the game, understanding what we're going to get at Nottingham Forest, how they play. It's obvious a new manager, so it's slightly different to assess what they've done. But ultimately, they have good players. The home crowd will get behind them, and it's important that we go there. We compete in the early stages of the game and see what we get. Samuel Hamilton says, will Lucha feature this weekend? I'll give you my opinion on that as well. I'm not cutting my hair until Chelsea doesn't get a red card. It's in his biography. Brilliant. Samuel Hamilton, I'm not having a pop at you on this one. What has really pissed me off this weekend, I have to say, are these other channels, clickbait channels, leading with Lucha's back. Martinez is back. Martinez is not back. And this is not a dig at you, my friend. It's just that this is what I mean about why the responsibility of channels is so high, because the people listen to the news, right? Martinez is not back. He's not completed a full training schedule yet. They're slowly going to bring him back. Look, he might be on the bench for probably not the Spurs game, but he's not back yet, my friend. Not back at all. So don't believe it. Do not believe this clickbait crap. He is not back. He is being slowly integrated back into this team, and is going to take a process. Now, unless Amorim is fooling everybody, he's not ready yet. And these are not my words. These are the words of Ruben. So he's not back. Kanchelskis was great for United before Beckham came along. He gets forgotten about, in my opinion. Kanchelskis, I've got a lot of time for Kanchelskis. When Kanchelskis was sold, Kanchelskis was peak Kanchelskis. It wasn't like Kanchelskis was sold because he was at the end of his career. Kanchelskis got sold. I mean, what a fantastic player. I absolutely loved that player. I thought Kanchelskis was absolutely brilliant. You're right, he doesn't get mentioned enough. What a player. What a player. Do you think Nani is underrated for his spell at United? I think Nani was one of those players, and if you listen, and again, this is the only time I'll listen to people like Rio and etc., right? Is that when they're talking about players, it's great. Nani had all the skills, the pace, a shot on him. I just don't think I think he was trying to be the new Cristiano. I think he's just retired. I just think that Nani I don't know what it was. He just lacked, in my opinion, I think Cristiano the problem is, I think people were thinking that he was going to be the next Cristiano. He still won a league. It wasn't as if he didn't win leagues. I just think Nani was his own player. I think that he was a good player. I think he's underrated because I think that people are always expecting a Cristiano. Nobody is Cristiano. I just think sometimes his attention dropped. Good player though. Good player. Fantastic shot on him. What a shot. Fast, skillful, pacey. I think he just lacked that little ingredient to be the sort of world-class player. But you're right, still a great player. True, I don't understand the hype around Martinez after a few videos of him in the gym. I don't know what to do in Manchester. Scott is the man in Manchester. Go to the Trafford Centre, yes. I mean, there are, I think, and Scott can correct me if I'm wrong here, but there you've got the Northern Quarter and you've got all that sort of stuff there. I mean, the city centre. I mean, you've got everything there, right? You've got places to eat, drink. you can go, you can take a little trip or go get an Uber or something and go to the ground. Yeah, I think Scott's right. I mean, it depends really on what you want to do. Scott knows more than me. Nani's retired. The team is beginning to gel, but my major concern is losing both Ahmad and Burma to the African Cup of Nations. I think that's fair. I think that's most people's concern. Nani in his day was awesome. Never forget when he destroyed Arsenal and scored 2 goals. Loads to do in Manchester. Nani was a good player, but media hype elevated him to the level of CR7. Exactly that. Exactly. He was never Cristiano. On his day, fantastic player. Passing the time while I'm waiting for the United stand to go live. Oh, thanks, mate. Thank you. No, it's cool. Look, all I'm going to say is we're better. There may be bigger, but we're definitely better on here. We do different stuff. We are better. I'll have that argument with anybody. We don't do clickbait. I actually read comments on here. We are a community of people that have a conversation. Scott's right. We are better. We are better. Clickbait stand presented by Norman Price. I've got many. Did anybody? No, I didn't. So I didn't see it. But what I did, but I got sent something. I don't know who it is in there, and you guys can tell me. One of their presenters was getting crap for wearing an AC Milan shirt. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but apparently one of their presenters was wearing an AC Milan shirt. You guys can tell me. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I just heard that. But says, how do you deal with abuse from trolls on your channel? Moderators. Sometimes I'll give it back. The thing is, Bart, you just don't take it seriously, mate. I'll give people a chance. I like to give people a chance. But I just think you have to. I just think you just have to have thick skin, right? Whatever you do, Bart, in terms of this, it's life. People. If you come into this thinking that everybody's going to be your mate, they're not going to be. I think you have to have quite thick skin. You've got to have amazing moderators, which I do, like Scott. Also, I ban people as well. Be careful about the things that you read, and give people a chance. Simple as that, mate. Superbat says, one time I paid for a super chat on Goldbridge channel and he slagged me off. I never paid for a super chat again. I think that I can't talk for how other people do what they do. I will, as much as I can, will read out your chats because it's about opinion. Other channels promote opinion. Opinion, it's not opinion, it's their way or the highway. We do think I value your opinions. That's why I read your chats. And if I do come back on a chat, it's not because I'm disrespecting your opinion. Sometimes it just sparks an opinion of mine. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Doesn't mean that you're wrong either. Well, we've all got our opinions. Amos says, glory, glory, Man United. Kusha says, yeah, United Devil channel. Scott, stick on the move. I'm always watching. I love funny trolls, but not annoying trolls. Always watching. Exactly. So basically, look, Wilcox is not really saying anything there, is he really? Basically saying that I think he makes some good points about how we are preparing for the game. Sean Dyche being there adds something different. They're going to have the home crowd behind them, and we need to get into this game and compete early. So I think that's really, really worthy. Super chats are read if it's worthy. I'm of the opinion. I'm of the opinion that, and I'll give you my opinion. Right, there are super chats on here, right? People don't have to use them, right? I'm of the opinion if somebody is willing to use their hard-earned cash to support the channel and give me their opinions, if I'm willing to read chats out for no money because I value that opinion and I value your opinions, I don't necessarily always have to agree, but I will. If somebody's prepared to pay money to support the channel, I'll definitely read that out. You won't be able to keep up with your chats or super chats if you're as big as the United stand. It's true. It's true. But we're not. And I'm okay with that. You know, if this channel ever gets to a size whereby it's really difficult to read out these chats, then I will do something, because this channel is always about you guys. And if it comes to a point whereby, for example, super chats have to be used, the super chats will be so low. But again, I don't have that. I don't have that problem. This is why I love this, is because I love this small community. As much as I'd love it to get bigger and bigger and bigger, right now I love this. Be nice to get a few goals against Forest. I agree. Super Battle says, don't forget about me when your channel grows. Look, mate, I don't forget the people that support me. Absolutely will not. Absolutely do not forget people that supported me. So I will not forget. And I'm sure if I ever did, remind me. Could get guests on from the chat. And Dino, that is the long-term goal, my friend, is to do some different stuff. Is to get, I want to do it in the right way. And absolutely, I want to get you guys involved. And I'm just trying to think of a way to get you guys involved in a way that is different to everybody else. And I'm trying to think of a way to do that, because I want to start incorporating you guys into the shows as well. Add another level of debate and chat as well, and maybe we'll do it around games. Maybe we'll do a post match, or maybe we'll do like a match reaction, or maybe we'll do some sort of match as well. But I'm on it, Dino. And if you guys do want to get involved in the channel, and you do want to put yourselves forward for coming onto the show, let me know, because we can do a community show. I want to do members only shows as well. So get into the chat, put in the community tab. Let me know. My email is in there. Let me know if you want to get involved in the show, and I'll happily bring you onto the show. You have that Anderson Cooper vibe, you'll make it for sure. I don't actually know who that is. Let me look, because I can never tell when people are being. Can never tell when people are being nice or not. I don't know who that is, but thank you anyway. Thanks. Also, health, I would like to see Shesko scoring. He seems like a classy player. Build. JB slow and steady wins the race to do what's best for the channel. Exactly. Look, organically, this channel will be what it is, and if this channel gets bigger, it's because of you guys. So it's literally Mark Goldbridge. United versus Forest is literally Mark Goldbridge versus Brent. I volunteer Scott as first guest. I wouldn't problem. Yes, Scotty, we need to come up with something. I think me and Scott could do a debrief. I think Scott, we could do a post match analysis. I think. Who is Scott? I don't think he. Scott, I'll let you deal with that one, mate. Okay. Next question for Wilcox says, as we head to the festive fixture list, how are the preparations going for the longer term vision? We've got a clear plan. We know what we have to do. We know the areas of the team we have to improve. For us to get into the top four, consistently challenge for Champions League places, win the Champions League, win the Premier League, we have got to invest in the squad. We have got to buy the right players who have talent, but also can deal with the pressure, who can take the squad forward. It's not always about seeing elite talent. They have got to have the right character and somebody who can bring something different to the team. We are really happy with where they are. We know we've got to improve, and you know the players that will never be satisfied. Ruben will never be happy. I will never be happy. It's just how we are built. We're always looking to improve. Anybody who works at the club should be thinking the same way. With the standards are driving every day. Look, Paul says Slot has turned into a right tit. Scott can type, he can't speak. I hate public speaking. Scott catching strays, don't worry. Scott's come back. Yes, Scott. Look, Scott's going to come back. I have no concern about that. I'm sure there'll be many expletives in that. So I would just prepare yourselves because Scott will come back. Bobby, public speaking, mate, is trust me, my friend. This is easier than you think it is, mate. So look, I think what Amorim is saying there, give me know your thoughts, and I think this is a really key takeaway. Chelsea Blue says, my man, since I was last here, we are looking right about Amorim. Scott, I love it. Noob says hi. So I think top of the show, the reason why we're going to make signings, right, is because listen to this again, okay? So for us to get top 4 and consistently challenge for Champions League places, win the Champions League, win the Premier League, we've got to invest in the squad. It's that statement there for me. Sorry, I meant Anderson Cooper, not you. If you are, then that's okay. I love it. Brilliant. I'll let you guys can just continue with that. So yeah. So look, I think the most evocative thing there, I think, is for us to get top 4, consistently challenge Champions League places, win the Champions League, win the Premier Leagues. We've got to invest in the squad and we've got to buy the right players. I think that is. I think that is an intention. I do think that means that we are going to be buying players. I think we need to go get players. For us to finish in the top 4, for us to challenge for that top 4, I think he's spot on. I think he's absolutely right. So I do think, I think that. Give me a second. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So sorry guys, I had to do something there. Forget to close it. I'm on MS mode. Let's have prediction. Okay, so let's have predictions. JB, will Amorim be in charge when the new stadium arrives? I think that's a very what are we in 5 years' time? I think that's a good question. I do think that is a very good question. I think that is a great question to. I think that is a great question to ask. Do I think he'll be in charge? Logically, from where we are right now, logically, I would say no. Do I want him to be in charge? Yes. I think I have to be logical as I possibly can. 83 TKT says Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Hope you're doing extremely well. I would like him to be in charge in 5 years' time. Do I think he will? The probability says no. Let's see. Let's see. I think it's a very. I think it's a great question. I think it's a great question. I really do think it is a great question. I want to be optimistic and say yes. I do. So I'll be optimistic right now and say yes. But I think for me to answer that question, I need to see more consistency. Scott says Amorim will be here for 15 years plus. Look, Scott, again, what I love about Scott, very much positive, optimistic. I love that. Scott, if that's true, I would love it. 8-3 TKT, can Arsenal win the league? Yes. And I think Arsenal will win the league as well. So I think they will. Super Battle says Shesko described Lemens as a wall in training in his interview with Sky a few days ago. Lemens is brilliant. I love Lemens and what he does. I think he's great. So look, I think we will make signings. You know, listening to Wilcox, and we'll get through the other things that he said as well. But I think for me, the statement that he said is that we know what we have to do. We know the areas of the team we have got to improve for us to get in top 4 and consistently challenge for Champions League places. Win the Champions League, we have to invest in the squad. So I do think that we're going to invest in the squad. Now, let me know who you think that might be. Random content. What do you think is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? Good question. I have no idea. I think the meaning of life is you come here, you make a mark, and then you try and exit as quickly as possible. Another question that was asked, let me just get through this. So it's a glorious day here at Carrington, Jason, and the mood seems to be really good after those 3 successive wins. The mood has not changed, to be honest. When you lose football matches, of course, we are disappointed. I think Brentford game stands out as a game where we were extremely disappointed in the way we played. But in all other games, I think we have had moments of really good play and we're seeing progress. We've just got to keep this going now, not get carried away when we win and not get too disappointed when we lose. We know we are making progress. It will be another tough game at the weekend. Ruben and the guys will be fully prepared. We know what we're going to get at Forest. A new manager, they've got a good playing squad. We saw that last year, and it's going to be a really difficult game for us. And I think that's right. Will the United Strand cut his hair after Spurs game? Yes. Dino Anana did the same, but his performance has decreased. So again, I think Jason Wilcox speaks extremely well. I'm liking it. I'm liking the fact that we're not getting too carried away, and like this fan base. And like certain channels where we're going to win the league and we're going to do all this stuff, one game at a time. One game at a time. We're going to win matches, we're going to lose matches, we're going to draw matches. And the trick is to take each game as it comes. On to the signings. The new signings all seem to have bedded in really well. They fit into the culture of the club that they've really bought into. It was great work by everybody to get the calibre of player over the summer. Yeah, the guys have settled in really quickly. I think especially when you look at Matthias and Brian, they've played in the Premier League and they've lived in England, so the transition is quicker. I think Benji and Senna, you look at their transition, they've transitioned really well. We are really pleased. They are 2 young players, 2 for the future, that have settled in amazingly well. They're all good guys, even from the last window. They're top. Even from the last window, they are top professionals, top players, and we're really optimistic that we are going to get in the right direction. We have a clear plan. I'm sure there are going to be bumps in the road, but we have to go and make sure we stay calm, irrespective of the noise outside. I see the intensity in the training every day. I see the way they train, the way they apply themselves, the way they communicate and get on with each other. Like I say, when you lose football matches, you are always going to be a little disappointed, especially at this club. Again, just giving you an insight into why Cunha is doing so well, why Burmo is doing so well, the fact that Shesko, Lemens is doing so well as well. Anana, rest in peace, Wayne Broadhurst. Don't know who that is. I'm gonna. I see whenever people put that stuff into the chat, I need to look at that. I don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. Let me know. I think if you're referring to the gentleman that was, that was an accident on Monday, then of course, rest in peace, because it's never nice to see or hear things like that happen. The injury is so bad, we need better backup keeper. I want to stake in as backup competition. Dina, I agree with you. Crazy how the media calls that Shesko a flop while Gyökeres ghosts every match. Somebody made a really good point, and basically said watching him is like watching somebody trying to run around in jeans. Cracks me up. Gyökeres, I think we dodged the bullet. But yeah, I think Wilcox on the signing that we made, and I do think, and this is all talking for the Forest game as well, I think Cunha's going to have another good game. I think Mbeumo are going to both have good games. So I think we might see Cunha scoring again. I think we see Mbeumo scoring again. I do think we're going to have too much. So it really pleases me to hear, that these young guys are having a really good season. The club feels like they've embedded well. I have to give credit to the Football Inside as well. I did score the window quite low, but I think it's fair to say that as the season progresses, I think you can then go back and look at the signings, and the window for me is probably jumped from a 4 at the moment to, I'll give it a 5.5. And the more we win, the more consistency that we get. And if we get into the top 4, then I'd have to score the window higher. So I think right now everything is looking extremely good. Dino says 3-1 against Forest. Shesko, Brace, and Mbeumo scores. I will give you my prediction as well. And the last thing that he said was, so you did identify in the summer and the team that you needed goals, and the goals started to arrive. You have got to be quite proud of that as a team, the way it's working and the fruits of that work. Obviously, we've plugged in some really talented players. They create, score goals. But when you score goals, it's not just about the front guys, it's about the build-up. The idea, the way that Ruben works the players every day on the idea and how to create chances. When we look at the amount of chances we're creating, we're now just starting to convert, but we have got to keep going. We've won 3 games in a row, but we've got to make it 4. The only way we're going to get this club back to the top is to drive standards. The players and Ruben's certainly doing that on a daily basis. What can I say? That interview, as I said, I purposely didn't bring it into the show last night because I wanted to talk about that today. And they're making the right sounds. It for the first time, having a director of football who is a footballing guy, and we're talking about the Forest game. He's talking like how you would expect somebody that knows about football to speak. JB, do you actually think he will change the defence? Heard the rumours he may change. I heard that as well. I don't know if the rumours are to be sneaky to Forest, because if you think about it, if Forest think that we're going to be playing Euro, or we're going to be instead of Maguire, maybe then that will change it. I don't know if Maguire's fully fit. If Maguire's fit enough, I think he might play him for the aerial threat, because I know Forest are up there in, I think, top 3 or 4 in basically getting balls into the box. So I think that to counteract the aerial threat, I suspect that Maguire might be in there. Or maybe what he does is he starts Euro to begin with, and then brings on Maguire if there's an issue with that. Or it could be alluding to the fact that Mason Mount, because Forest play with a low block, and I think maybe we play Mason Mount, Cunha in there to basically drive that ball at that low block. So I think Dino's right. I do think you're right. So I think that maybe Maguire does feature in there to deal with that. Interesting. I'll give you my opinions as well. Let me get through the chats and I'll give you my opinion. Super Battle says Mbeumo is better than Salah. Salah is only good with Trent giving him the service to play his game. I wouldn't go that far. And again, I'm not disputing your opinion. Opinions are there. I think that Salah is a talent. On his day, world-class talent. I mean, look, you can have that opinion. Mbeumo I think, is a different sort of player. Do I think Mbeumo is in Salah's league? I don't think he is. I think he's a different sort of player. I think Salah at times is unplayable. Mbeumo, I don't know if he's at that level just yet. I don't think he is. But I think for me personally, Salah is one of the best and most consistent wingers in this league that we've ever seen. I don't think Mbeumo, as much as I'd love him to be, is at that level. But again, that's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right. I just think that Salah has been. It's really easy. It's really easy to, in my opinion, to not have a pop at a player, but to have negativity on a player towards the end of their career, right? So Salah's not going to last forever. This is the sort of towards the back end of his career, but for me, I can't agree with that. I think Salah has been one of the best Premier League players you could argue of all time. Will we drop Shaw for Maguire? Nope. Sadly not. Jenny Thong says Barcelona keeper Szczesny has disclosed just how remarkable Rashford has been in training since his switch, describing him as unstoppable. So what you think? Jenny, in the greatest of respects, I respect the opinion. I don't care. I don't care. Rashford is not playing for us. I don't care if Rashford has become the world's greatest winger, greatest goal scorer, greatest player since Messi. I don't care if he makes Messi look like Emil Heskey. I couldn't care less. And Jenny, I promise you, it is not me calling out your opinion, valid opinion. Rashford doesn't play, so good for Barcelona, good for him. I hope he does well because it means we get money. S7 says, is it too early for a title charge? S7, I respect the opinion, but I gave crap to another channel the other day for talking about that. I think is irresponsible. Look, you guys want to have that opinion. I love it. If you guys want to come on here, yes, I have been. You guys all want to come on here and you guys want to say that we're going to win the title, we're going to do this and that. Brilliant. Guys, I love it. Come on here, tell me that we're going to win the title. Tell me that we're going to finish in the Champions League spaces. I love it. But I cannot sit here as a responsible creator, a responsible person who's trying to lead a channel that's about honesty, about integrity, and mention us winning a title. I can't do it, mate. I can't do it. I will leave that to the chat. If you guys want to talk about it, fine. Not maybe next March, next April. Maybe I'll do a show then. But to suggest we're in the title race after winning 3 games, I think is a stretch. Scott says the JBU trigger word is sure. My eyes twitching. Great to dream about winning the title, but realistically, nowhere near. Exactly. So my trigger words, title and Luke Shaw. So, my eye twitches. So guys, on that note, amazing. I am going to go. I should be back tonight. If not, I will let you know in the community tab. I will be doing a watch along tomorrow. So join me for that. I will be doing the watch along for the Forest game. Super says next season we can compete for the title. Super Battles, again, I would say that's more realistic. I'm more comfortable with that because I can have a logical debate on whether or not we can win the title next season. Logical debate on that one. I think that's a more worthy discussion. Scott says Luke Shaw and lifting the title, JB. I mean, can you imagine, Luke? Can you imagine, right? Luke Shaw lifting the Premier League title. I mean, holy shimoly! I mean that would. I mean, the fact that Luke Shaw said in pre-season that we can win the title, right? Imagine Luke Shaw saying that. Luke Shaw lifting the Premier League. I think that would finish me off. Liverpool going to get relegated. Oh my, they're not, mate. They're not. Arsenal will run away with it this season. Arsenal going to have a dip in form at some point. So let's see. Top 6 realistically would be great improvement. He's pulled a muscle. Who has, me or someone else? Because my eye is twitching. Isn't Maguire the captain? Omar, I don't know where you've been, my friend, for a couple of years, but he's not been the captain now for quite some time. So on that note, guys, I am going to go. I will be back tomorrow. Definitely be back tomorrow to do the game, and then obviously the game, and then the match reaction to the game as well. I might do a show tonight, maybe not. If not, I'll definitely be back tomorrow, but I will let you know in the community chat tab. Luke Shaw lifting the title on Bruno on Amorim's lap, getting a belly tickle. He's a good. Can you imagine? Imagine Amorim. I think if that happened, he'd be getting a little bit more than a belly tickle. Jenny, exactly. It's my opinion. Do a show tonight. All right. Okay. Just for you, I'll do a show tonight. Okay, fine. Okay, look, guys, I'm always led by the community. I'll do a show tonight. It's a Friday night. Let's do a show tonight. Fine. Watch along tomorrow. Yes, I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow, and I'll be doing a match reaction after. So it's a full schedule tonight. Super Battles. Yes, I'll do a show tonight. So I'm going to do a show tonight. Watch along tomorrow, and then a match reaction after that as well. So it's going to be a fully packed. I'll make sure to tune in what time tomorrow. I'll probably do one about between 10 and half 10. I will let you know. Great show, JB. We'll be back tonight for more rabbit holes. Tonight's show, Friday night show, is basically anything goes pretty much. I'll come in with something to talk about, and then we'll just come in with it. Will you dress up for your show as not as it's Halloween? But the things are, would you look? Would you? Who in the hell would want to see a man of 42 years old in like some sort of outfit? You're giving me ideas, Scott. You're giving me ideas. I'll think of something. I will. Dress up as Luke Shaw, or you need some crutches. I'll do something. I will do something. So come back tonight between 10 and half 10. I will give you a shout, let you guys know what time it is. Set up the show, and you should see it in your feed anyway. So guys, on that note, I am going to go. Have a good rest of your Halloween afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. I'll be back tonight. I've been told I've got to come back, so therefore I've got to come back. And I'll see you tonight. So guys, fantastic show again. Thank you so much for being here. You guys make the show amazing. As we always say, we are not the biggest, but we are the best. Get involved in the community. Have you got a Harry Maguire dress-up costume? I haven't. Maybe I should do. But guys, amazing. Thank you so much. See you tonight, and have a good rest of your day. Take care.